Hi guys, welcome to gardening. Yeah, it's been really great. I've loved seeing you all on Zoom. I loved seeing the meeting. I think we all kind of left with a giant smile on our face. So yeah, it was really good morning we had. So I'm gonna, as said in the previous video, I'm gonna be following up these with a video. And just basic gardening techniques. It's either going to be what we've been doing in the session, or if not, then just a little bit more helpful hands while we're out gardening. And if you've got any questions, or if you want any instructions while we're there, this video is kind of running off the first session we did, where we had a bit of a chat about growing things from home and making some good use of the cut-offs from the veg and stuff we're using in our general cooking, just to keep that life going. I've got a couple of techniques, a couple of tips, well 3 tips, using 2 different types of veg and making a homemade watering can, which you'll have around anything around the house, yeah, so you can have all the stuff there without having to go out and buy. So yeah, we're going to be looking into making potatoes and growing them from bags at home, cut-offs from our foods that we're using, and we're going to replant them and get the roots grown, and we'll get some more life out of them, so make them go as far as possible, because I know that you use a lot of cut-offs in your cooking. So yeah, we're going to put these to good use. All right, so grab yourself a cover. I'm going to angle this camera down a bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing, because it seems quite high. I wanted to get in the Biker kitchen garden thing at the top, so I'll just move that down for next time. Yeah, so we'll get that started, we'll get that going, and yeah, let's go. So grab a cover, get your dungarees on, and let's do some gardening. Woo! Okay, so the weather's been a bit grim recently, so I've been wanting to do these outside, and I've wanted to do them in to get some, so we'll get a feel for growing outside. But it's a great time to start the seedlings and stuff now, so we'll support that with future videos and whatnot. But for this one, I know that a lot of people are wanting to grow in smaller spaces, in the backyards and in the homes and on the windowsills and stuff like that. So I'm going to give you a few techniques or a few tips that I kind of use over the past couple of years, or however long I've been doing this for, in making your food cut-offs go quite a bit further. A lot of you were saying that you use a lot of kind of spring onions and potatoes and stuff like that. I, for one, forget that I've got loads of potatoes in the cupboard, and they start to chit and they start to get eyes on them. Chit, which just means they get these little things growing off them, which is basically the start of the new life for the potatoes. So we can keep those instead of like shaving them off and putting them in the bin. Keep a hold of them. So also you cut off from the bottom of spring onions, which is what we're going to look at today. So yeah, we're going to get started with that. And what you're going to be needing is a pot and some compost and your cut-offs here. We'll jump to the last bit, which was going to be a homemade watering can. A simple thing using just a plastic bottle and stuff you've got around the house. So all this stuff that we'll be using, you can use around the house, or you'll be able to get it from around the house. And yeah, it should be pretty free. So we've also got these that we did on the last one, so we can pot in our paper pots. So a pot, some compost, and we need some water to help them grow, and we need a seed or something to start the growth. So I'm going to start this now. I'll catch us in a sec. I'll be using this, which is a see-through container, just so you can see how far this is going to be going down. But when you're using your pots, you can kind of you'll get the idea. And just yeah. So yeah, grab yourself a cuppa again, and then we'll get started. Catch us in a sec. Okay, so bottom of these spring onions, we're going to bring some more life to this, so it can bring it back to life. We have the roots, which is great. Can you get up close to see? Yeah, we still have the roots, so keep hold of these guys if you're using them. And it works the same with leeks. It works the same with anything that has a root or the bottom that's kind of grown through. You can use what we call hydroponics, fancy word, which is like using water to get the roots to kind of stimulate, but if the roots are already there, use them, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to get your pot, which will be this. I'm going to do it in both, you know, just to show you. So we're going to fill this with compost, just leaving a bit on the top, which is about, pat it down a bit, about here much. There's usually a ridge just up your pot, so you fill it to the ridge and then that should be fine. I'm going to do this with this Tupperware, see-through Tupperware box as well, just so you can see. I wouldn't use a Tupperware box to do it anyway because you'll need some holes in the bottom for drainage, which is pretty crucial because you don't want too much water in your plants or in your growth, because it'll just drown it out and drown it, and that's not great for the plant. So I have 3 of these lovely things. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to simply just about here far down, just so there's a little bit of the top coming out the top of the soil. And in a pot, it's just the same. So you're just going to push that in, pat it down, make sure that it's safe and snug, doesn't wobble around, and that's simply that done. So you can put this on the windowsill and keep watering that, probably every other day, or whenever the soil gets quite dry, and keep that going, and that should shoot up. And we'll keep our eyes on this, and that's getting some free spring onions from your first kind of bought crop. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to keep them aside, and we're going to move on to the tatties. So the potatoes, what you will need is, I should have turned this inside out. Pretend you didn't know the shop. Okay, I've got a bag for life which has a hole in it, which is going to be not very useful for me as a shopping thing. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to get a knife, okay, and you're going to score some holes into the bottom. Now this is for drainage, so you just got to simply score. I'm going to do it like this. Doesn't need to be artistic, just some holes in the bottom, and that's good for drainage. Sometimes people like to put rocks in the bottom. I don't tend not to, just so it's a bit easier to get them into the ground from that point. So you've got your potatoes growing into your bag, and then you can just score the bottom, open the bag. I think we did it in the garden in the tyres, so it's able to just go straight into the ground, and then we're not disturbing the plants or the tubers when we're growing. So what I've done is I have got a few potato plants here, or potato seeds. Now you're not going to get as much as you normally would from a seed from these, but it's a good place to start from having, yes, a cut-off from your veg that was just going to go into the bin. So what you're going to do is you're going to fill your bag. I'm going to again do it in this container. You're going to fill your bag about halfway. Okay, I'm going to pat this down and then simply put your potatoes into your container, and simply, as easy as that, just begin to hill them, okay? And that means just cover up the shoots. Always have the eyes pointing up, because that's where the plant's going to grow up. And once those are covered, we're going to give it a good water using our watering can, which we will make in a few seconds. And yeah, that's good to go. So we've got a bag for life with your potatoes going to be grown. You've got our cut-offs from our spring onions or leeks or whatever you're going to be using. The seed, they're ready to grow. Okay, so last thing, I'm going to show you how to make a quick watering can, and that should be us good for Dom's three, how many, which hands? 3 quick gardening tips at home. Okay, 2 secs. Okay guys, now this one's quite a good one. So it's, what you want to be doing is when your seedlings are grown, you don't want to be disturbing them too much. That's why you have the sprinkler effect on a hose pipe, or you have a sprinkling from a watering can. It just gives it a light covering of water, that's the word, rather than drenching it, and then that can affect the seeds growing when they're really small little seedlings. So you want to be having a light kind of cover over of that. I've been using this for quite some time, and it's the simplest thing in the world. You'll have an empty bottle. I think this is from bath, bubble bath or something like that. Or it's just an empty plastic container that you'd be throwing out in the recycling anyway, and we're going to make a bit of use of it. So it's simply, you're going to get a knife or a pin or a little needle and thread or something like that, that you're just going to simply pierce the bottle in one side, so that you might not be able to see it, but I'm going to hold it up close anyway. You have a few little holes that cover the one side of the plastic bottle. So this is going to be our watering can. Simply, and save the top, okay? So I'm going to fill this up with water, just so you can see how the effect is. Right, so we filled it up with water. I didn't want to be running the tap and things like that while it was on. So this is it. So once you make sure you know which side it is, you can either put a mark on it just so you know which side it is. And simply, you keep on the top just so it kind of keeps the air in, and you're squeezing it, and there's your watering can. Simple as that, okay? Lovely, simple, but effective. So keep hold of that when we've got our seeds coming out for you. So this will be perfect for watering at home. We've got the potatoes, which is going to be in your bags. If you want, I have bought this because I was feeling fancy this year. You can get these in most gardening centres, and this is a actual potato bag, which inspired the idea of the bag for life. And it's got a hole in that you can reach in, grab your potatoes out. I'll stick a link on the group to see if anyone wants to see that. But it's as simple as that. It's a felt bag that can keep our water safe. But remember, if you're going to use the bag for life, to score the bottom, not too big, because we want the water to drain out. That's just about it for this one. You've got another one coming up on Thursday, or just after the meeting. So it's been an absolute pleasure, guys. I've really enjoyed speaking to you on the Zoom chats. And if you've got any ideas or anything you want tips for, I'm here. Give us a shout in the comments, or message us on the Bike Kitchen Garden or Northeast Wales, or whatever platform you want to learn to do stuff. I'm more than happy to do it. So it's been an absolute pleasure, and get gardening at home. It's right at the right time of the season as well to start on the windowsill. So my windowsill's going to be filled with it coming weeks. So I'll catch you in this next video. All my love, excited to get back to the garden and see you guys. So, see you soon. Bye.